Hello students, this is Miss Dalton and I'm here to go over the last concept of this unit, which is on adding subtracting rationals with uncommon unfactored polynomials. Okay, so my students have been having a lot of difficulty with this unit, mainly because of this word right here, factoring. Okay, so hopefully by now you've gotten better at factoring, but if you're still struggling with how to factor, I would suggest going to the top of Sophia, and you can type in the word factor polynomials and do a search for some other lessons on it, some other tutorials that you can watch, and see if that helps you understand how you're factoring. Again, we've been teaching you by the box method, so hopefully you're getting better at it. Alright, so in this section we will have unfactored, uncommon polynomials. And if you remember from adding and subtracting, you have to have a common denominator before you can add them together. So in this sentence up here, it says, to extend on the previous lesson, sometimes the rational will not have a denominator that's already factored, so you must make sure that you factor all your denominators first. So let's look at example 1. My denominators are x squared minus 3x minus 10 and x minus 5. Because I'm adding, these denominators have to be the same, and they're not right now. So in this first one, x squared minus 3x minus 10, I notice that I can factor it. Again, it's got that x squared term, so I'm going to try and use the box method. Now, I don't have room to do the box method on here, so I'm going to cross that out, and the factors of that should be this. Again, if you need to pause the video to use the box method, why don't you go ahead and do that and play it when you're ready again, and you can check your factor. Okay, after you use the box method, you should end up with x minus 5 and x plus 2. Okay, so if you notice here, I have an x minus 5 here, and I have an x minus 5 here. I'm going to put parentheses around it. So I have part of the denominators be the same. The only thing that's missing is that this x plus 2 is not over on the right side. So let's multiply the bottom and the top by that x plus 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine it over one denominator. My common denominator is this right here. So let's rewrite it, x minus 5 over x plus 2, I'm sorry, not over, times x plus 2. And now let's go ahead and combine our numerators. We have 3x minus 15, so I'm going to write that down, 3x minus 15, plus this x times x plus 2. Well, I'm going to go ahead and distribute that x. So it's going to be plus x squared and plus 2x. That's just coming from me distributing that x to both of these terms. Let's see if we can collect any like terms on top. The denominator is going to stay the same, x minus 5 and x plus 2. So on top, I have an x squared term, so let's write that one first, x squared. The 3x and the plus 2x can combine and make plus 5x. And then we have our minus 15. Okay, the only other thing that I would want to check is I see that x squared term. That's a red flag to me that maybe the numerator can be factored. But again, I'm going to have to do a box. Well, to begin with the box, I have to figure out if I can get some numbers that will multiply to give me a negative 15x squared, but add to give me a 5x. Okay. You can think and think and think. The only factors of 15, negative 15, is negative 1 and 15, and negative 3 and 5. Neither one of these solutions gives me two numbers that will add to give me 5. Even if I switch my negative signs, it's still not going to work. There is nothing that will multiply to give you negative 15 and add to give you 5. Therefore, the numerator will not factor anymore, and so this is your final answer. Again, you want to try and simplify it as best you can, but that's as far as I can go. Moving on to number 2, I do not have a common denominator, so let's factor our denominators and see if we can get them to be the same. If you look at this first denominator, x squared minus 7x plus 12, I'm going to have to use the box method, or by now you might be able to just factor it by hand. I need two numbers that will multiply to give me 12x squared, but add to give me negative 7x. So pause the video, do the box method, and then press play again when you're ready to check your factors. Okay, your factors on this one should be x minus 4 and x minus 3. So let me mark this out. Okay, so looking at this denominator over here, I have x minus 4, but I do not have the x minus 3. Well, I can get that by multiplying the top and the bottom by the x minus 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine this over one denominator. My denominator is going to be x minus 4 times x minus 3. Again, that's my common denominator, so let's combine it over 1. Let's take the numerator over here, so x squared minus 11. And then this next numerator is a little tricky because I have this minus here. Let's go ahead and distribute the minus to the x plus 1. So I'm going to change this minus to a plus, make the x minus, and make the plus 1 minus. I have two binomials, which means I'm going to have to multiply them either by FOIL or the box. I'm going to go ahead and use FOIL. So I'm going to have negative x times x, which is minus x squared, negative x times negative 3, which is a positive 3x, negative 1 times x, negative x, or negative 1x, however you want to write it, and then negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3, so plus 3. Now let's go ahead and combine our like terms on top. We have x squared minus x squared, which is going to give us 0x squareds, so those are going to go away. Then I have 3x minus x, which is going to give me 2x, and then negative 11 plus 3 is going to give me minus 8. And that's going to be all over the denominator, x minus 4 and x minus 3. Well, hopefully you recognize that on the top I'm going to be able to factor out a 2 because they have both of these have a 2 in common, which is going to give me x minus 4. So I'm going to mark that out. Okay, hopefully you see something that will cancel. The x minus 4's cancel, and so let's rewrite our answer. On top I'm left with a 2, and on bottom I have an x minus 3. And that is as far as I can go on this one. Okay, last but not least, we have example number 3 here. Again, let's look at our denominators. We see that we're adding, which means we have to have a common denominator. So we have 2x plus 1 times x minus 3 in this first one. Look, it's already factored for us. That's good. We're not going to have to factor that one. And we've got a 2x plus 1 over here. So it looks like my common denominator would be this whole thing here. So over here I need to put an x minus 3 on the bottom, and if I multiply it times the bottom, I have to multiply it on the top. And now let's go ahead and put it over one denominator. So my one denominator is going to be 2x plus 1 times x minus 3. On top, I'm going to have minus 3x, or negative 3x, plus 16. And then we have 5 times the x minus 3, so let's distribute that. So plus 5x, and then minus 15, because I'd have 5 times negative 3, which is a negative 15. Now let's go ahead and combine our like terms. We have negative 3x plus 5x. It's going to give me 2x. And then plus 16 minus 15 is plus 1. Look, That's a good thing because now we're going to have something that cancels. So we have 2x plus 1 on the top and the bottom, so they will cancel. Be careful on this one because I don't have anything on top, but we assume that when we don't have anything there, when they canceled, it made it equal to 1. So on top I have 1, and on bottom I have my x minus 3. And there is my answer. Okay guys, I'm going to put a nice little video at the bottom here, and I hope you enjoy it. And again, have a wonderful spring break. Be careful, and please come back ready to work on your Algebra 2.